Hello, and welcome to a video suggested by the user Micaiah Flores. The question is giving me an idea to take suggestions on Star Wars and to give my 2 cents in, on a situation. So I'll be calling this series Star Wars Scenarios. And with that comes an intro that I made over about a day, and I'd like your guys' opinions on it. So here it is. The question I've been presented with is, what if Darth Sidious and Kreia met? What are your thoughts on it, outcome of battle, points for and or against how they'd go about things, or if they tried and work together? If you haven't played Knights of the Old Republic 2 The Sith Lords yet and don't want to be spoiled, please save this video for later. I highly recommend you buy the game when you can, and mod it with the TSL Constant Restoration mod to get the full experience and fix various aspects of the game that were cut out. If you have played it, or you just don't care about spoilers, go on ahead. I hope you like it. This is definitely an interesting question, and for various reasons. Darth Sidious and Kreia are two of the most manipulative characters to ever grace the face of Star Wars, and both mask their presences, appearances, and intentions with the Force. They are extremely similar characters in how they carry themselves, but their main difference is their end goal. As you should know, or at least probably know by now, Kreia spends the entire game manipulating you. That's not to say that she doesn't care for you, want to make you stronger for, your own ends, but she has a goal, and you're quite literally the only option left to her. By the end of the game, Kreia nears killing the Force itself. Kreia is a staunch individualist with an incredible propensity for persuasion. Despite despising the Force, she uses it to great effect. However, she is nowhere near the strongest with the Force. Sidious, as you all know, is also a master manipulator. He spent most of Anakin's lifetime manipulating him to be his apprentice and help usher in a new galactic empire. His role was hidden almost the entire time, along with his identity. Assuming we're going off of Legends, he's by far one of the most powerful Force users to ever even exist. He's a completely remorseless, guiltless, pitiless monster by nature, and the dark side of the Force only feeds into his power because of this. It's safe to say he wasn't corrupted by the dark side. The dark side only bolstered what maliciousness was already there. Additionally, he was extremely manipulative from a young age. We don't know anything of Kreia's childhood when compared to Palpatine. She may have just had a normal Jedi childhood. Who knows? But past that, it's obvious that the two are very similar on the surface. But if you ask me, these two are beyond different. They are almost entire universes apart. Darth Sidious may as well have been the varied incarnation of the dark side of the Force in his time, given his lack of remorse and inborn maliciousness. And as we know, Kreia hated the Force. Darth Sidious's very existence, his Force-drowned nature, his propensity to grind the galaxy against itself into dust without any cause would likely enrage Kreia. Sidious does not know what the universe is like without the Force. To Kreia, he is nothing more than a mindless beast controlled by the dark side to do its bidding. For this scenario, I'm going to be assuming that Kreia somehow existed in the same time as Sidious. The logic here will be probably closest to don't question it. To start off, Kreia would likely infiltrate the Imperial Palace about the same way she did the Harbinger and Ebon Hawk. This method was roughly the same as what Palpatine does, but on a larger scale. Instead of just concealing her identity, she can conceal her presence. Mikal, for example, does not fully realize who Kreia is until she reveals himself to him, despite them interacting before. He only sees Kreia as an unimportant bystander because she only allows him to see her that way. In the same way, Kreia would likely use the same technique along with various conventional infiltration methods to get inside. Once she reaches Palpatine, she could likely manipulate his guards through the Force to leave, or failing that, incapacitate them. Palpatine would likely immediately notice her and her apparent strength in the Force and skill in infiltration, seeing through her hidden identity. He'd likely either question her or attack immediately, and this is where our theory splits. Our first possibility is the two facing off in battle. Palpatine would likely rely on Force lightning. Our maths really depends on who gets the upper hand or attacks first. We've seen that Palpatine isn't immune to Force attacks, such as in this scene. With this in mind, we could theorize that Kreia could catch him off guard and, using the same technique as she did on Dantooine, sever him from the Force. As we see in this clip, the attack comes very suddenly, with little to no preparation as we see. This is on 3 Jedi Masters at once as well, and we don't know the limits of this ability, but we do know that she severed the Jedi Masters from the Force, and the shock killed them. With that in mind, with someone as strong in the Force as Palpatine being severed from it, his death would be assured. If Palpatine attacked first, however, things would likely go quite differently. Kreia could perhaps hold off his attacks with some measure of difficulty before being done in by torrents and torrents of force lightning, but there's also the chance that Kreia could turn it around and sever him from the force. But other than that, she has very little else to stand on. However, our second possibility has Palpatine question her on her identity. He may see her as Darth Kreia, but this is difficult to know based on the abstract of information about how Kreia concealed her nature. She would likely introduce herself as Kreia, and if the Emperor saw her power in the Force, he could potentially offer some sort of role as an Inquisitor. Kreia would likely accept, but only to get close to the Emperor. Eventually, after some large amount of manipulating galactic events, she would sever Palpatine from the Force, killing him. Why would she betray him, you ask? Well, it's kind of in her name. She's Darth Kreia. She's the Lord of Betrayal, and she hates the Force. She'd hate Palpatine even more, as he's one of the most powerful Force users we've ever seen. There's really no strong reason I can see for why she would stay loyal. Even one she found beautiful, the exile she betrayed. Unless she was able to manipulate the Emperor into denying himself the Force, which is beyond unlikely, she'd have little option but to try to rip him away from it eventually. Of course, these theories are likely inaccurate, as I don't have the absolute best understanding of the characters. This is just what I think would happen. What do you think? Would Kreia kill Palpatine, or would she follow him? Would she betray him? Let me know what you think. I'm eager to hear your opinions. And if you have any suggestions, let me know what you'd like to hear me theorize about next time. It can be about anything Star Warsy. Character versus, starship matchup, even species relations and diplomacy if you really want me to take a crack at that. It's all up for grabs, and I'm excited to see what you all want. And I will see you guys next time, I guess.